Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team. That's why I'm saying high quality right now, because that is a dub. That's a dub. Duns. Locmelis. It sounds like that pronunciation that I was taught a long time ago is actually going to get changed. Not get changed, but they seem to be using a different pronunciation, so I'll have to learn something new. It's fine. Guys! He got signed! They did it! My boy! If you've been following this channel for a little while, you know that I am a big Locmelis guys. It's many of us in this house. I have been following this prospect. How do I make this not sound creepy? Screw it. I have just been following this prospect since he was drafted. I subtly pointed out that he was my favorite prospect of the 2022 draft, or at least one of my favorites of the draft. And it has worked out pretty close to what I thought it would be. This feels early, but I want to give everyone a real introduction to who he is, my opinion of who he is, at least on the ice. And many of you have not had the time to track along with him from Sweden and Latvia and all of that good stuff. So, who is he, first of all? Well, or what happened? He's a prospect for the Boston Bruins who just signed his 3-year entry-level contract with said Bruins. He will be on an amateur tryout with the Providence Bruins for the rest of the season, so this contract won't actually kick in till the start of next year. He likely plays in Providence, my guess, for the next year, and misses a large chunk of time for the Olympics, where he will be with Latvia. So, he was chosen 119th overall in 2022, a 4th-round pick, if you're not a math whiz. He is a 6'1", 180-pound left-shot center, Latvian descent, UMass sophomore, or just finished his sophomore year. His freshman year, he had 7 goals, 7 assists for 14 points in 30 games played. That was his first year working on North American ice rink sizes. Then this year, as a sophomore, he had 8 goals, 25 assists for 33 points in 40 games played, and a 53%, a little above 53% from the dot. Not too shabby. Through his college career, and this actually is a theme that has followed him from every single spot that he's played at. He starts very low in the lineup with UMass as a freshman. By the end of that freshman year, he was playing in the top 6 on the power play and on the penalty kill. And in his sophomore year, he would spend time on the top line. He wouldn't spend the entire season there. He'd be up and down, but he would also be on the power play and on the penalty kill. He is the kind of guy who puts his head down, works hard, and gets moved up the lineup. Coaches adore him. They love him. He works so hard, and he plays a very consistent style. A very, very consistent style. Years ago, when he was drafted, we talked about his lack of high-end physical abilities. He doesn't have a nasty shot or unreal touch with his passing. He isn't a big bruiser who's going to change the landscape of your forecheck. He isn't a blazing fast skater, and he doesn't have the explosiveness to be a threat one-on-one with defenders. None of that has changed. Really, none of it has changed. He isn't below average in all of these categories, or really any of them is he all that way below average, but he is not a physical specimen when it comes to matching him up against other elite athletes, right? I mean, he's a physical specimen compared to me, but when you put him next to other NHL hopefuls, he's not going to blow you away physically. It's actually something that makes his entire road here very impressive, because usually there's some sort of thing about a player, Beecher's speed and physicality, although he's not that physical, but like Beecher is athletically gifted as all mess. He's just so unbelievably fast on his skates. He has great edge work. He's just a really great athlete. That's why they moved forward with Beecher, right? That's why they thought he could be a first-round talent. 4th-round talent for Locmelis, because, I mean, physically just not that gifted. And you got to take flyers on guys later in the draft when they're not a physically gifted player. There are still going to be concerns that is what's going to hold him back. And we'll talk about that. But it's just, his physical abilities are not going to be what can separate him from other NHL hopefuls and put him up to that next level. He has to rely on something else. So let's get into, I'm going to talk about some positives, things that got me really excited about this, and then we're going to talk about some negatives, right? We're going to talk about things that I'm concerned about. So first of all, there's three main categories for my excitement. Firstly, his hockey IQ, which is the main thing. And you could even call the next two things subgenres of it. He doesn't play for a linear objective. That's not his game. He's the kind of guy who the casual fan will probably not like very much, but especially early on, because he's not going to be racking up large goal totals or point totals in the NHL if and when he makes it there. If you're not watching him play, you oftentimes won't see exactly how he's affecting the game. I'm not saying he's going to go pointless forever or anything like that. His points grow with every league he's in. It just advances and advances. But he is going to be somebody who will have shifts where you don't realize exactly how he's affecting the spacing of the play. He will make nice primary plays. He will have goals. He will have assists. But what sets him apart is always understanding the flow of where the play is going. And I really cannot overemphasize how much he understands it at all times. When he has time with the puck, when he's able to make the play he wants to make, his play is always intent of setting a teammate up for the next best step in his mind. He doesn't fling the puck around just because it's there, right? He doesn't see a player who looks kind of open. You look more open than everybody else, I'll just chuck it to you. That is not his game. He looks for a patch of ice. He looks for a space where he can lead his teammate into it. He lays the puck to them in a way that allows them to collect and think about their next play immediately. He's not going to throw a bunch of suicide passes. He's not going to keep directing his players into the corners over and over again, and they have to win a battle every time they're trying to get a puck that he played in. It is always with something else in mind. Now, hockey isn't a sport that's always possible, of course. Now, he's going to have plenty of his dump-ins and clearances and whatever, but when he has time with that puck, even just a couple of seconds, he is going to be able to make a play that will oftentimes change the shape of the defense that they're facing. It's really cool to watch. When he's like on his game, you're watching, you just kind of sit there and go, I didn't see that, and I feel like he saw that 4 passes ago. He's clever. He's very clever. Another thing, his defensive play recognition. Now, his spatial awareness is nuts, both defensively and offensively. His ability to use the entirety of the rink has always been clever. But it is super rare to catch him below the puck line when it's turned over in the offensive zone. It's like he's the first guy who's always going to know the puck is about to be turned over, and he's going to cycle, reset right back up to that blue line, making sure that he's behind that puck so that when that gets turned over, he's still there to make a defensive play. He's always going to fill in for his line mates. He's always going to be the guy who, when you do have a breakdown and you realize that one of you guys came a little too far inside, he's setting up to make sure that gap control is what it needs to be. Gap control is a huge part of his game. And it has to be, because again, athletically, he doesn't have the kind of catch-up speed that's going to make him stellar when it comes to defending transitions. But his gap control limits those moments tremendously. God, he's good. He's really great. I'm just really excited about this, guys. I'm really excited. Active stick through passing lanes as well. Really, really great in the neutral zone. I would refer to him as kind of like a neutral zone demon. There are no easy plays through the center of the ice when he's on it. He's just in control of that section. And then the third thing that I'm really excited about to watch and to hopefully see grow is his deceptiveness and his creativity. It's honestly the best part of his game. He does all the little things right? He does all the things I'd already mentioned in this video. But while he's doing those things, he's often disguising it from his opponents. Like I mentioned, he uses the space around him, but he shifts the defense how he sees fit. And he knows the play that the defense wants him to make. And he'll use eyes and positioning and little fakes and things of that nature to get that defense moving. And it's easier to do at the lower levels, don't get me wrong. But he oftentimes is looking for that play that the defense isn't preparing for, especially in transition, where I would say he's most dangerous. He's the guy who finds the passing lane to that trailer who just happened to be there at the left corner coming in that none of the defense picked up. He'll be able to make that initial pass if the 2-on-1 is the best option, but he's going to be aware of other players on the ice to make the correct play to give them the highest chance of doing some real damage, of creating a high danger scoring chance. That's what his game is based on. It's intelligence, it's creativity, and it's deception. And if you can mix all those together at an NHL speed, you become a tremendously dangerous player. That's a pain in the ass to play against. And it's not even the type of guy, this is getting way ahead of ourselves, but that's not even the type of guy where you get into a playoff series against someone, you're like, I'm going to watch that guy for the next 5, 6, 7 games. I'm going to catch on. I'm going to get used to it. Not really. Like, I watched this guy plenty at this point, and I still get very, like, what was that? Oh! Like, he just sees things, man. He just sees things, and it's brilliant. There's some things I'm concerned about. Can't speak right now. I've been speaking all day. Long day at work. His physical abilities are average, right? I'm worried that they're just a tick below being a viable option at the NHL level. The AHL will most likely let us know if that's true or not. I had no doubt when he went to UMass, coming over from Sweden, the Swedish league. I had no doubt that he was going to be an impact player on UMass. And I had no doubt by the end of his first year, or maybe second, that he'd be playing important minutes on a top line for that team, and that's what came to fruition. That, I wasn't concerned. Here's where I start to get concerned, right? It's the next step, it's the bigger step. The AHL is where we will really be able to discern if the mental game is what sets him apart by enough to make that next level. Because now you have to impress them at a professional league to get to the greatest league on the planet. This is where he is either going to stall out, many players do here, or continue to show that he's going to grow in every league that he plays. He's going to pick up on the nuances of the structures and the team play and the speed, and he will be able to meet that challenge head on and maintain his progress. That is something that concerns me. It doesn't concern me that much because I am so bought in on this guy's ability, vision, IQ, deception. I'm really bought in on him. So I'm not that concerned. He won't be a guy that gets a call up because he's a point per game player, I don't think. At least definitely not early on. But because he plays 3 sections of the ice perfectly. Like, so damn well. Another thing I am concerned about is if they try to push him to the wing. I believe it stunts his growth, and badly. His greatest asset is how he controls the flow of the game, the flow of the shift. And to do that, he needs to be in control of center ice. He's a true center. I have no doubt in my mind about that. But his strengths are significantly weakened by tossing him on the wing. It does make it so that he has less responsibility. It makes his life easier, but it's not the best thing for him to reach his absolute pinnacle of what he could be. He needs to stay at center. He is a true center. Leave him there. I genuinely think if they try to move him to wing full-time, it will prevent him from making the NHL. The way he affects the game through the center of the ice is what makes him great. You can't take that away from him. Questions that I'm sure you have. What's the timeline? I think he needs at least a full year in the AHL. I think that's fair. I always said he was a 4 to 5 year project. We are 3 years in. I don't believe the timeline has changed that much. If we don't have to take a 5th year, great. But next year's year 4. I think he needs a full season in the AHL. He wants to play at the Olympics. I mean, it's going to be easier for him to do that playing at the AHL. So that's fine. You may also ask, what's the ceiling? I've said all these great things about him. What's the ceiling? Well, most would probably say that the ceiling, remember, the top, is a 3C. And they're probably right. Right? They're probably right. But he reminds me so much of Krejci. Really does. That I can't help but think there's 2C potential there. Now, let's hit the brakes. Krejci, at like 19 years old, was a point-per-game player in the AHL. This is a different player. This is a different scenario. He doesn't remind me that much of Krejci. But the way he plays the game, the vision he has, the way he continues to advance in his game, if the physical stuff holds him back, it holds him back, and we'll see. I also am incapable of being unbiased. I think I'm being unbiased by saying that I think that there's 2C potential. It's a 10-15% chance, but I think it's there. But I have cheered for this guy and religiously followed his progress for 3 years. I don't think I'm capable of being impartial at this point. I don't think that's possible for me. So I firmly believe that there is a 2C ceiling. I do believe it's unlikely. I don't think it's a sure thing by any means. 3C is probably it. But I'm going to believe in 2C because I want to. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that. This was a really long video about a prospect signing. I was just really excited to talk about the guy. I don't get to talk to him about him that much. Go Bees. Go Bees! And of course, here at the end of the video, I love to give some shout outs to the fantastic high quality inspectors who help support the channel and keep this running. I super appreciate every single one of you, from the role player tier, the top line tier, and of course the all-star tier. We are going to do our shout outs for this top line tier. Thank you so much to Sean Kreider, Michael Kammerer, Chris and Erica, Kevin Timperley, Quackin' Platypus, JM, Smoke Channels, Shaggy, Adam Ella, Albert Waldron, Negev79, Lola Cattingsworth, EKM Productions, Moonlighter TV, Big Bad Bruin, The Bugman, Jeff with a G, Tommy Braga, Roland22, GD Viperworks, Len Kreutz, Brock Nope, Han Slobo, Coach D, The Atomic Lizard, Bradley Johnson, Brett Arney, Pincent, and Nick Zatrullo. Thank you so much, each and every one of you. Your top line material. But now we got to move on to our all-star tier members, the absolute legends. We have Jacob Pratt, Jake Brower, Dampen, JG's 12, Mark S., Ann Hustis, Tim R., Lorenzo Wood, Penny Pasta, Levi Catalani, Boston Stringler, Bagel, Nightmare Eco, John Kirk, Joel, Stealthy Potato, Heil E. Coyote, Darren Woodbury, Abraxion, Wolf Warrior, Vinny, Adrian Winter, Tupton D. Tashi, Bruin Smash, D.A. Kingery, The Only Newts, A Tasty Snack, Dutes42, and Jeremy. Thank you all for all of the support and love that you are all giving. I appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, go Bees!